Welcome to an episode of Tangentially Related, the podcast that's like a phone call with your bestie. I'm Laina, and I'm here with my bestie.
I'm Gina.
And we're just going to have a little chat today. It's my turn to pick a topic, and I need to give a little bit of backstory. So I was in bed, really tired, and I had an idea, and I was like, I need to remember this. So I literally got my phone, put a voice note, and I was like, Gina,
Yes, okay.
remember, we need to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
This was the late night brain ramblings of Laina just being like, you're not gonna sleep, you're gonna think about this instead.
I got this, like, kind of late-ish for me, so I knew that you had to be in bed. Before I even opened the voice memo, I was like, okay, this is probably like a late night thought, like, situation.
And I'll say I was at the tail end of a high where I was just like, feeling good. And when I partake, I love how my brain works. It's such a weird space, but I often have to like check in again because when I'm high, I think that all of my ideas are the best ideas ever.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Sometimes they are. Other times I look at them and I'm like, what? So, but this one I thought was actually really good. I'm trying to remember all the context I gave you in this voice note that I should give the listeners. But if I forget anything, you let me know. I love lists like so much. I like keeping track of things, but my brain is weird, where it doesn't like to be told what to do. There's like a phrase for that in the mental health world, I forget what it's called. I'll remember it later. But where like if I'm someone or if a list, even a list that I wrote tells me something to do, I'm always just like, So instead of a to-do list, I think a to-done list might work for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a great idea. So this is what the voice note I sent you, lady. And you're just like, yes, we will talk about this. So
Yes.
Let the discussion begin. To-done list, which I realize is a stupid name, but it perfectly encapsulates what it is, where it's like it's a list of things you've already done.
These are the things I have done. Yeah, no, I like this. I see the similarities in that when you have a list of things to do, you get that gratification of crossing something off the list when it's done and that accomplishing feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I see the to-done list acting the same way. I am still getting the reward of something with the list. Like, instead of crossing something off, now I have the reward of adding to the to-done list. I did this. I can write that down now.
Mm-hmm.
So that part, that makes sense to me. Yeah, I totally see that working.
I just had this thought while you were talking. I was listening, I swear. I like to kind of evaluate where I am at the beginning of the day, being like, okay, I have a high spoon count, I have a low spoon count. And basically, for a to-done list, you could like put the check boxes. Like, let's say I'm like, I have really low spoons today. I just want to do 3 things. I want 3 forward steps in whatever manner of my life, like whatever realm of my life. So I put 3 check boxes, and at the end of the day, or as I do them, I write things that I do and I check it off. So I still get to check things off, and I'm still like, got a goal I want to hit, but the actual things that I have to do are up to my weird ass brain and what it's willing to do that day.
Okay, yeah, no, I follow because I know. I mean, I think I do. I know, like, we usually have our own weird random tasks. I feel like you're always doing a house project.
Always.
You always got something going on. Okay, so tell me, like, just for example, like for this weekend, what would your to-done list look like? Or if you did have the goal of 3 things.
I haven't done anything yet, so
It's still early in the weekend.
this is a good thing because in my brain I was like, I haven't done anything yet. That's bullshit. Because I literally just listed everything before we started recording. Where I was like, I've already done all my must-dos for the day, which is, we're recording this on a Saturday. I love my mother, and she's like, we will talk weekly. And I was like, okay. Once I moved, like, really far away.
No, I like that you have that routine.
Well, and it was something that she specifically requested because, like, when I first moved away, I was really bad at staying in contact because it's a little bit out of sight, out of mind for me, where anybody who I don't see regularly, we have the benefit of working together. So you fucking know everything that's going on with me.
Yeah.
My mom doesn't. So she's like, hey, could we just have like a weekly phone call just so I know what's going on in your life? And I was like, I can do that. So we talk every weekend. So I was like, but that's definitely like a checklist item for me because peopling, even if it's my mom, is a task because
No, true, yeah.
I don't people. I talk to my mom. I took my dog for a walk and we're recording, which is going to be honest, another
Boom.
task to do. So that's technically 3.
Okay, very
So I could have been
nice.
like, I've been productive. And to like see that and be like, hey, I might not feel like I got a ton done, but I actually did,
No, yeah, that's good.
which I need.
I think for me, if I have a broad task of like, oh, I gotta clean my house, the to done definitely helps there because I have a tendency to do little tasks that you just can't see a lot of proof
Hmm.
of. Like, well, I cleaned off the table.
Yeah.
This is a little task sometimes. Other times that can be a big task.
Be like, this is an hour-long thing.
Oh my
The
gosh.
table is just such a catch-all.
It becomes a dumping ground for everything. Yes, absolutely. If I changed purses, both purses and the contents that weren't worthy enough to be in a bag are also on the table.
Hmm.
The most random shit. Oh my gosh. If it was a holiday, the leftover decorations or things that I didn't know where I wanted to put, those are on the table.
Yeah. Flat surfaces are my nemesis, which is why this is relating back to the you always have a house project going on, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
But in my like plans, I'm always really, really hesitant to put flat surfaces that don't serve a specific purpose anywhere in anything that I'm doing because I know me.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be cluttered
Mm-hmm.
on the docket for the future because it's a pretty big project. I want to put in like a kitchenette in my basement.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I was like, I would like it to have some counter space, but I don't want it to have a ton of counter space because it will be a catch all. And I was like, oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
I should do something like those hidden countertops where it's like, it like folds out. Have you seen these?
I think I have, but I mostly think of the ones that are in like vans or campers.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like that. Like when it's done in a kitchen, it's almost like a second layer of countertop that sits under the first in a section and then it literally like slides or rolls
Yeah,
out.
okay,
And
okay.
I'm like, I love that for the workspace because my kitchen doesn't have a ton of counter space. My like first main floor kitchen
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have a ton of counter space. So I was just like, oh, I could do something like that. But I was like, I could figure out how to do it in the basement. And it's like a lower stakes thing than my main kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
But flat surfaces are my nemesis, so I always think of things like that, where it's like, I don't want a flat surface. How can we make a temporary flat surface that has a
Yeah,
home that isn't just existing for me to put shit on?
yeah, that I totally relate when it comes to flat surfaces just turning it into just a whole clusterfuck. The dresser in my bedroom right now is just insane. It's just clothes and crap.
Hmm.
Any flat surface will basically turn into a doom pile.
Oh my word. Okay, this is a little bit of a jump, but I feel like you'll appreciate it. Maybe we've already talked about this. I swear this is related.
I'm like, yes, give it to me.
Have you heard of the YouTuber, like the inventor YouTuber? I cannot remember her name, who just makes random ass inventions. Some of them are ridiculous. Like one was an alarm clock where it like hits you in the face. They're like absurd. Like, but she just makes them. She was really, really big back in the day
Interesting.
because she's like an inventor basically, but it was just a way for her to like get her name out there and be like, even inventing these ridiculous things helps me develop skills and blah blah blah. It was a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But in the last couple of years, she invented a chair, but it was a chair that was intended to live in your bedroom where you would put clothes on that you like wore once
Mm-hmm.
but wanted to wear again. And it would be like there was a thing where it would like rotate around the chair where it's like you could rotate it, put clothes on it, and then rotate it behind the thing so you could still use it as a chair.
Interesting.
I will have to send you
Yeah, you gotta send that to me.
because I love this because I don't know about you, but I am of the side of the argument where people wash their clothes way too often. It's actually really
Mm-hmm.
taxing on the environment.
Oh yeah, certain things do not need to be washed
They don't.
every single time you wear them.
And I
Yeah,
was like, if something gets dirty, obviously wash it.
sure.
But the way that most like closets and living spaces are designed, like bedrooms, when said living spaces, they're not really designed for that like in between clothes
Mm-hmm.
situation. It's like, oh no, you have your closet organization, but you either need a massive amount of hooks, which is what I'm going to do in my closet,
Mm-hmm.
or like some sort of functional something to be that in between. And I love that it was a chair because I was like, oh man, having a chair in your closet is so nice for like putting fancy
Yeah.
shoes on and things like that. So I was like, this is a genius design. I'm going to have to send it to you, but I love it.
Yeah, no, definitely send that to me because it's funny. I also thought like my doom pile, which I mean, like, it is what it sounds like, but if anyone out there is hearing this for the first time, that actually is an acronym. I don't know who in the ADHD world coined that, but it stands for didn't organize, only moved, which is my fucking life.
Oh my word. I didn't realize that was an actual thing, and I feel called out.
Because it just sounds like what it is. You're like, as soon as
Yeah.
someone says a doom pile, you're like, yes, the pile of doom, and
The
whatever it is for
pile
you.
of
For
doom.
me, it's always clothes, but like, it could be all of your craft supplies or something else that you're like,
Hmm.
one day I'll organize that stuff, but not today.
I literally just did this because I recently got my chimney swept and I had to like move some stuff to make sure they had enough room. And I moved the project table that was in my laundry room slash my closet because that is now the same thing.
Hmm.
Which, by the way, highly recommend. Makes laundry a breeze.
I bet.
I had a table that was like my catch-all for like any sort of tools or painting supplies or anything that I needed when I was working in my basement because I've been doing a lot of work in there. And it just became a catch-all because it was a flat surface and I had to move it. And I just moved it to my like gaming slash crafting space. So, but I did that intentionally because I was like, I need this space. So it can't live here for long, but it was definitely a didn't organize, only moved situation where I was
Yeah.
like, damn it.
Yeah.
I feel called out.
And I've heard of people having like a doom chair in their bedroom, so I like that this is made to not be that, that like you can just have, your next outfit there, but also still use it as a chair because the downside of the doom chair, while it might be smaller than filling up the top of your dresser, is that, well, this was a chair made to be a chair, and now you can't use it as a chair. Like, you've got all your crap on it.
Yes. You don't even need to really rewrite the neural pathway for the habit because the design takes your habit into place. Like if your habit is to throw something on the chair and then the chair becomes the solution,
Mm-hmm.
like how awesome is that? Like you're not even rewriting a habit, you're just changing it a little bit, which is so much easier.
Yep, because trying to break those habits and those routines just feels like impossible sometimes.
Oh, speaking of neurospicy habits, have you heard of the latest, well, not latest, I feel like it's been around for a bit, where for neurospicy people, doing like habit bingo to build habits is actually much better? Have you heard of this?
No, I think I'm gonna need a little bit more elaboration.
Okay, imagine like a bingo card, usually smaller than an actual bingo card, where it's like 3 by 3 or 4 by 4 instead.
Mm-hmm.
And you put all of the habits that you want to like start building on bingo cards. And like every day you fill out a bingo card and you try to make bingo or like 3 in a row with your
Mm.
habits. So you don't have to do all of them all the time, but you're still building consistency and can see the habits of like, oh wow, I'm really not dedicating any time to this. Is this something I really want to do? Or is it something I think I want to do? Sort of thing. And I was like, that's so interesting. Because I've always struggled with building habits, but I like gamifying a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And I don't have to do everything every day. And that's
That's true.
such a weight off my shoulders,
The
shoulder. Sure. You know what I meant.
little soldiers that are in my brain. No, they're not soldiers in my brain.
They are currently staging a revolt or a coup, but you know, they're there. They're there.
I was gonna say I've got little monkeys in my brain, not soldiers, or maybe monkeys that think they're soldiers. I don't know.
You know, that's really entertaining. This reminds me of, I feel like I'm all over the place today, but this reminds me of my therapy sessions where my therapist is like, hey, sometimes it helps to like personify aspects of yourself. And that's why I was like, oh, it's a menagerie in my brain. It's not just monkeys, it's not just shoulders, it's a goddamn zoo.
True. Mm-hmm.
Although it's not nearly as organized as a zoo, so that's why it's a menagerie instead. Anyway, I haven't given you a chance to respond to anything. Your turn to talk now.
No. You are all good. I'm always along for the ride. It's funny, I'm thinking about our doom piles and all of the things as I'm like currently creating my own mental to-do list, and I'm sort of in an interesting spot where I'm planning for a trip or preparing for a trip. I have a trip next week. There are some things that are ambiguous enough that I need to do that I think could just be a to done list, but if there are certain things that like do or die, this needs to happen before I get on a plane, I think for me, those are gonna need to be to do list items. The to do list would sort of serve as like my map I think. Like, this will be the things that, like, you gotta do these because this will benefit whatever. But if it's just an ambiguous, like, oh, I would like to have the kitchen a little bit more organized before I leave since we've got someone watching the house and watching the dogs. Like, is the kitchen fine right now? Yes. So basically, I don't need to stress about it. It doesn't need to be on the to do list, but that could be my to done, where if I just want to do three things in the kitchen and then maybe they end up being I cleaned the fridge, cleaned the counter, and then mopped the floor. Wonderful. Bonus. We're all good. Right now, my priority is my hairy house because my dogs are shedding like crazy.
I love how I immediately went to my systems and processes brain. I was like, okay, so for you, it would make more sense to have like a two-column list. Like one is the to-dos and one is the to-dones. And
Mm.
the to-dos you have to do. Then you can mark them off. And to-dones you just add to. And then you can feel even more accomplished. It was like, oh my gosh, I got through everything I needed to and I did all this stuff.
True. Yeah, you're doing both, crossing off the to dos and then adding to the to done.
Yep. And you can just feel so accomplished at the end. Honestly, that's a really good idea.
I like that. I think the to done works best when there are things that, like, yeah, you gotta do them, but they're not super timely.
Mm-hmm.
Or if anything is done, then hey, we're good. We won. Like, I have been meaning to organize and clean, decorate, and all of the things in my home office space, but that's not like a huge priority. The rest of the house is a little bit more important. So I think the office having its own little to done list would work for me.
And if it's a habit that you get to into like doing a to done list, if you don't do anything,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Like there's one thing where it's like you write a to do list and you're like, these are the things I need to do. And that's great. But sometimes if nothing has any urgency to it, it just falls by the wayside. So if you're just like, no, I want to do something, and you want to do put something on your to done list, it encourages you to do the things that maybe don't have to be timely, but still you want forward progress on. Because I stall out with that all the time. I
Yeah.
was like, I want to do this,
Mm-hmm.
but then I don't.
You're so right about the sense of urgency. That changes the whole game for me.
Yes.
So, I've got this trip coming up. I have thought that I have a little bit of time to clean the house, and then our friend that's going to be watching the house and the dogs, like, she'll come over sometime. We'll figure things out. As we were preparing all of this, I last night was like, you could come over tonight for dinner, and then I can show you the dog's like nighttime routine. She actually ended up not being free, but for me, I was like, wow, why did I just throw tonight out there? My house is not clean, but you know what? I will make it happen. Like, I was about ready to run all over the damn place and just like make it work. Like, clean like a maniac.
I definitely relate to the sense of urgency thing being like, ugh.
Hmm.
Which is, I think, part of the reason why it took us so long to like do our own thing. Because while we
Yeah.
love making stuff, there really wasn't a sense of urgency,
Hmm.
which is fine. But for both of us, that's such a strong motivating factor
That's true.
that it's like, okay, do the things.
No, oh my God. I don't know why I haven't put that together before. Because sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
think of when we have done things together outside of our day job that are like productive, creative things, not just like having fun hanging out. There has to usually be a sense of urgency. I remember within our first couple years of working together, we did a 48-hour film challenge. Maybe it was a little bit longer.
It was longer than that. It was,
I think it was like 72. I don't know.
no, it was like a month
Oh,
because
okay. But we shot in a weekend, I think.
yes, we shot in like a weekend because the challenge part was we got props and lines we had to incorporate. That was the challenge. So you had more time. Although you usually have to do that with a 48 too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I've done that in 48 hours.
But I feel like this was more geared towards like this is gonna sound shitty and I don't mean it this way. Non-college students where
More like working
they had like day
professionals.
jobs.
Yeah. Mhm.
So it's a little harder to just drop your life for 48
Mhm.
hours as an adult.
No, for
I
real.
do miss that about college, where you're just like, yeah, I could
Yeah.
totally just fuck off for a whole weekend and not have to worry about anything. Like, what? I could not do that
Oh,
now.
for real. Well, and there weren't as many pieces to pick up if, like,
Mm-hmm.
you dropped things, you fucked up, like, hey, sorry guys, I was gone for 48 hours. I'm back now. And then just fix things, because you know what? It was just homework and maybe a
Mm-hmm.
couple college hangouts and hopefully low stakes type shit. Yeah.
But yes, that I feel like that's why it was longer. Just I don't know why I feel like I needed to explain this, but that's where we were at.
No, yeah, yeah, because it was like definitely for working full-grown
Mhm.
adults. Not,
Yes.
yeah, not in like the early stages of your career. Yeah, I remember just the fact that we did something that was fun and creative and like completed this whole short film outside of work hours. Like it's hard enough sometimes when you're just done with your job at the end of the day and like why would I want to use my brain to do more of the same stuff? So it really felt so nice and gratifying like hey we know that we can do things outside of work. It's just been so long since we had done anything quite like that, and I think the reason why we were successful in that journey was because of the time constraints
Yeah.
and the sense of urgency. Like, hey, we have to do this in this small amount of time.
Yeah. I think about like us doing our own thing as like, do we need to start like setting deadlines for things? But then at the same time, it's like there are deadlines, so we could move them. So it's hard to give a sense of urgency when you know that nothing bad will happen. I
Yeah.
know that's so dramatic.
No, yeah, but like you don't have a boss or anyone else to report
Hmm.
to. Like, yep, the stakes are not very high. These are all self-imposed.
I actually did have this idea because I like to come up with businesses, as has definitely come up in this
Mhm.
podcast before. All these fun business ideas. One of the things that I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like that would be a good like side hustle business to start, whatever, where it's like an accountability partner, but for creative projects, for like
Mm.
individual creatives who need that sense of urgency and accountability, where it's just like, hey, if you have a 30-minute call with someone who's gonna be like, what was your progress like? What are you doing? What roadblocks?
Yeah.
And like, not even be like a manager, just like a checkpoint to be like, hey,
Mhm.
I think that would be so helpful for so many different types of creatives that I was like, oh my God, that would not be that hard to start. That would be so fun. And
Mhm.
I love doing that with people. That's actually one of the things I love about working with students.
Mhm.
Less so in my current role because it's very much organization and stuff. But when I was like doing more creative things with our student workers, it would be like, okay, touching in, how's it going? Where's your brain? Sort of thing. When it was more loosey goosey and they were like pitching an idea or something like that.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I don't know. That was there was a little side business that I thought of. I was like, that would be so fun,
Mhm.
just to like be that accountability person for another creative. And I was like, you
And
know
I
what?
know I've benefited from things like that, so I could totally see that being useful.
But then it gets back to the like, I don't know how to start a business. I can make a system. I can make a process. I can brand it. I can do all the things. I can't do much beyond that. And I maybe that's just me being ridiculous, be like, it's so hard when really it's not. But it's just not my area of expertise.
But yeah, I think like with a little bit of instruction and tools, like you'd be good to go. Cause yeah, you totally could do any of those things. Like, don't limit yourself. Stop with the self-limiting beliefs.
Oh, it's the forget about the how that is the hardest part for me, where it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
forget about the how, just do it. And I'm like, I can't
Mm-hmm.
because I like plans and systems.
I know for me, I will come up with these different ideas of things, whether it's businesses or even hobbies. I often think about all these new hobbies and things that I want to
Oh,
start, but I just
yes.
know that I have a tendency to fixate on a thing and something that's like really enjoyable too. So I almost don't want to abandon a current hobby because I am still enjoying it to do another hobby. Or if I'm trying to do something new in work or something else that's creative, then I don't want to add a whole new hobby and task, especially that takes a lot of time to learn, that I'm like, okay, I'll do that eventually. Like multiple times I have thought I would like to crochet, but I just don't think that now is the time. I've got a few other things to do. I will get to the crocheting when I get there. I don't know. We'll see.
Girl, same. Actually, crocheting has been on my docket for a little bit. I haven't really like 100% committed yet,
Mhm.
but I wanted a lap craft
Yeah.
because a lot of my crafts are not lap crafts. And my mom, second time bringing up my mom, shout out. She is like crochet master, can like look at something and be like, I can make that sort of thing.
Hmm.
It's insane. It's actually
That's
really cute
awesome.
because my niece, who, oh my God, she just went to her first high school dance, by the way. Adorable.
Oh,
So cute. Anyway,
precious.
my niece is like already to my mom's level when it comes to crocheting. My mom is so impressed.
Wow.
She could just like look at something and be like, I got it. She might not do it exactly the same way like my mom would, who has like years of experience,
Hmm.
but is can still just like kind of look at something and figure it out, even if
Figured
it's
out.
not 100% the same. And she's like in her teens, like early teens. I was like, holy
That's
shit.
awesome. Oh, I love a crafty kid. That's so cool.
Yeah. Oh. And she just recently got into D&D, so her and I have been connecting a little bit more and I was like, this is so cute. I love it.
Oh.
Yeah. But crocheting, so I have a lot of really good resources when it comes to crocheting. I even told my mom, I was like, hey, I'm thinking about wanting to get into this. And she's like, I'll send you some stuff. So she sent me like crochet hooks and yarn. Like I didn't have yarn already, but she gave me more.
Nice.
And it's just one of those things where it's like, it's here, and I know that it'll take me a little bit to like have to focus on learning it before it becomes a true
Hmm.
lap craft that I can like multitask when doing something.
Yep.
I have too many things in the air right now that I'm like, I can't start a new hobby right now.
Hmm.
So I'm in a similar boat where with you, where it's just like, I want to, but not right now.
Right, yeah. And it's all of the things. Like, I want to give my current projects more attention, and I don't know that I would be able to give the new hobby enough attention, or just the opposite. Like, if I want to give that new hobby lots of attention, I don't want to abandon the current things that I'm doing, or when am I going to have time for it? All of the things. I probably think too much into this, but at least I have interests that,
Yeah.
like current interests, and then things that I want to add to the plate because it is important to have hobbies.
It is. I don't understand people who don't have hobbies.
No,
I
true.
don't get it. It's like, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Work?
Work and that's it. No,
I was like,
right?
that sounds horrible.
Or people that don't fall down any kind of little semi research rabbit holes, that's always weird to me. Because if there's something that I'm interested in, if it is like a hobby or whatever, I want to learn a little bit more about it, see what's out there. Even when it comes to like movies or something, I'll chase a little rabbit hole, like down IMDb. I know this person
Oh,
from something.
100%.
What were they in? And then,
Mm-hmm.
you look up the movie and then, oh, they were also in that. And then kind of chase that. I've talked to a couple people that don't seem to do that. And I'm like, you don't.
Yeah, that's a neuro-spicy thing.
That's so crazy to me. I'm like, you don't just like learning these things, like just chasing the little bit of knowledge and the curiosity, find out where it goes?
Yeah, that means you were talking to neurotypical people. I'm so sorry. No, I'm kidding. Neurotypicals are fine. I just don't understand them.
They
Where
just
I'm
don't
just
make sense to me.
like what?
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a neurospicy thing until several different therapists told me, like, yeah, that's a neurospicy thing. I was like, oh, because I'm the same way where it's like, okay, I watched this movie.
Hmm.
Was there some source material? Great. Dive into the books, comic books, whatever. If
Hmm.
there wasn't, it's like, okay, who is the director? Who is the writer? Actors, what else have they been in? It like do all of the press interview rabbit hole YouTubing. Yes, I
Yeah.
get it. I 100% get
Hmm.
it.
And some rabbit holes will go deeper than others.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
I'll just pop around, learn a little bit of stuff, and I'm like, huh, all right, that's fun. That is satisfying. Other times I will go in deep. I want to know everything.
Mm.
All of the
Mm-hmm.
lore, the backstories.
Those are what I call personality rabbit holes, where it basically becomes your personality for a little bit because it's
Mm-hmm.
all you want to talk about because you're just so fascinated in things. Yeah, that
Yeah.
happens to me quite regularly. Where I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, haha, learn about this thing. And I'm just like, okay, no one else cares. And that's okay. I'm glad you and other friends of mine will humor me when I just get so excited about something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, listen to me talk about this, please.
No, right. Yeah. When I told you about the cities that were chosen for women's professional baseball, I was like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna need you to be a tiny bit excited because I am.
Yeah.
And other people I know aren't. So give me the energy.
Do I love baseball? No, but I will be excited for you. Also, I would totally go to a game with you too, because going to baseball and watching baseball on TV, two very different
Very
things.
different experiences. Yep, I totally agree.
One is like an event, and one is just watching the sport with the least amount of action on a screen when I could be watching something far more entertaining. I was like, please change the channel.
It is a slow-paced game. I don't know.
Isn't it like statistically the sport with the least amount of like playtime?
Yeah, I think so. And that would make sense. And maybe that's part of why it is a little bit easier to follow.
I don't know.
There's still different things to pay attention to, which I like, but there's something about, I don't know, sports that are just like back and forth on a plane, whether it be a field or like a hockey rink or something like that, that I can't always follow. Like, at least the logistics of a sport, like offsides in like soccer or hockey. I used to do sports broadcasts, and when I say that, I mean behind the scenes. I was not commentating games. I was a technical director for the broadcasts, and I think then I maybe had a better understanding of offsides, but right now, if you ask me to explain that to you, no. There's too many things to pay attention to. How am I also going to notice that? I think those sports are just a little bit overwhelming.
That's so funny.
Right? Yeah, there's just like, there's too much, and it just doesn't grab me either. There's a lot, and it's not interesting enough. I don't know. That's just me.
I think it's really funny that offsides is the example you used because it's actually not that complicated. I used to play soccer, which is so funny. I do think I'm going to provide a little bit of backstory for this because it's really funny.
I was like, don't you dare explain offsides right now because I don't need to know.
I won't do that to you.
Okay.
But in our job, there was back like a while ago, like our structure has changed. Previously, we worked with a team that was very much focused on athletics and they have since split off. But because they would talk about sports so much, I would just say, I don't sports and leave the conversations because I really don't care about sports. It's just not a hobby of mine. My parents, like, were just like, hey, you need to pick a sport just to, like, be social, get exercise, all those things. So growing up, like, I was always involved in some sort of sport. Not because I loved it, but mostly just because it was like, hey, this is a good way to, like, be social and things like that. So I actually know a lot about specifically basketball and soccer because those were the two sports I played. And it was so funny when, like, there would be, like, little drops of me knowing things and people would just be so confused. There's like, we don't sports. And I was like, you're right, I don't. And I would walk away. But it would just be like, oh no, I actually know 100%. And when anyone would condescend to me about like how sports work, I would just roll my eyes because I was like, I actually know. I just don't want to engage in this conversation because I don't care. Lack of knowledge is not the same as lack of enthusiasm.
Seriously. Because the opinions are so strong, the emotions are so high. Like, no, I don't want to jump into a sports conversation with you. And I say that meaning like the guys in the office that we used to work with.
Where it's like, I do not care. I don't care.
I totally understand removing yourself from that conversation or the potential of the conversation.
And I was like, and I'm out. It was a very intentional choice. It's actually one of the things looking back where it's like, I swear this is related. I am a smart person and I'd like people to know that I'm smart. I'll admit that flaw, but this is one of the first times that I can clearly remember making a choice to be like, nah, I don't need you to know that I know this. Because they would probably have condescended to me because that's just the sports and men thing. Like, statistically, not on their side for being on the right side of that equation. But it's just so funny because now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, I can't even think of another time in my life where I was just like, no, I don't need you to know that I'm smart. I'm good. Thanks.
Where you like, keep the fun fact to yourself. You don't need to share the information. I was
like, keep it in. Keep it in. Yeah. But I just love sharing fun facts, as you are aware. It's like, look at all this fun information I have.
But I know this. Yeah.
Yes, this is a high int, low wisdom situation. Where it's like, I feel like I got us very off topic at one point. I don't remember where we started.
Honestly, I think we dove into sports because of me. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Great. Love that.
If that makes you feel better.
We're talking about this.
Yeah, because I mentioned the Women's Professional Baseball League and the teams.
Yes.
Or the cities, I should say.
Which, totally happy to be a fangirl with you. Love that. I had a very similar thought process when the women's rugby teams were announced because I want to get into women's rugby. full stop, like, period.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, because I haven't sportsed in so long,
Mm.
I don't really know how. And same with the women's hockey league.
Yeah.
Whoever I end up eventually following for both of them will be purely aesthetic based.
You know what? And no shame.
It's like, you rebrand, we're gonna have issues. But yeah, I just want to get into women's sports more.
Yeah.
A, because it's usually a really easy way to not deal with toxic men because they don't care about women's sports because they're stupid. And B, just to support women.
Absolutely. No, all of the TikToks of the hockey arenas during women's professional hockey season, oh my gosh, it just looks so fun and so safe. I
Mm-hmm.
remember a TikTok of, I want to say, like the whole stadium was just singing Taylor Swift in unison. And it was so
Love
beautiful.
that.
Also, the words were on the Jumbotron, and I was like, these fans do not need the lyrics provided, okay? That is in their heart. They know this.
I was like, that's
They know these.
unnecessary. It's like, especially if it was one of the like super popular Taylor Swift songs, even
Mm-hmm.
non-fans know those words. Let's be real.
No, true. Yeah. And it was just like, it was the sweetest. Like, I was like tearing up at this whole stadium
Aw,
singing songs together because it was also like dads and daughters, young women, grown women. Oh, so sweet.
I love
That is the
that.
world I believe in. That is what I want to see more of.
Same. Yes. Women being awesome.
Yeah. You know what? Let's just go out on that high. More women being awesome, supporting
Love it.
women being awesome. That also just makes us awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, hopefully you love it too. I can't believe somehow this podcast went from lists to sports, but
Yeah,
wow.
that's odd.
Anything is possible over here. So, thank you for listening to Tangentially Related. I hope you're having fun with us. Please follow us on all of the social media things and come back next week for a fresh episode. Okay, thank you. Bye.